Dear friends, welcome back to my channel. Let's read. Before proceeding, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe the channel. From the timeless collection of Ismat Chugtai, let's read Muqaddas Farz. So let's begin with the story. The tiny fragment of paper fell from Siddiqui Sahib's hand and fluttered to his lap like a dying moth. He brushed it off hastily as if it had poisonous fangs that might get imbibed in his very being. Outside, seated on a pile of rugs, his wife supervised the hanging of chandeliers and colored lanterns. She was also reading congratulatory telegrams that had arrived from abroad and from Delhi and elsewhere in the country. The wedding of their darling daughter, Samina, who had recently passed her BSc with the highest honors, was only a day away. The young man, the groom to be, was employed in Dubai, received a monthly salary of 12,000, had free board and lodgings, and was allowed one prepaid vacation every year. Progress in the Middle East had brought good fortune to so many single women. This shower of wealth had provided relief to any number of families. From a well to do family of good standing, the young man had no one to hassle him for share in his income. The match had been arranged over the phone. He was not at all good looking, also just a trifle short. But does girl have to put her husband on rent? One doesn't bother with a man's physical attributes, it's his qualities that count. And in this case, qualities numbered 12,000 and total comforts even more. Their daughter was like a flower. She had wanted to continue her education, but an opportunity like this doesn't come once every way. So the girl was silenced with a few words of censure. What was to be gained by doing on to get an MSc or becoming a doctor? At first, she was just quiet, but then she became unusually uncommunicative. These girls are such coquettes, the mother reflected, putting aside the letter she had been reading. Well, it was settled. She would visit her daughter in Dubai in the month of Khali, and on her way back, God willing, be blessed with the opportunity of performing Hajj. At that very moment, suspended in a state of semi consciousness, Siddiqui Sahib observed with glassy vision the minute fragment of paper which had pulled his world from a great height and flung it mercilessly into an abyss. Papa, Mummy, I'm terribly sorry, but I can't go through with this marriage. I'm leaving with Tashar Trivedi to go to his parents' home in Allahabad. We've been married in a civil ceremony. I will consider myself privileged if you decide to forgive me. Your daughter, Samina Trivedi. My God, may God preserve us. It was true that Siddiqui Sahib was a progressive, allowing girls to obtain a higher education and letting them marry whomever they pleased. He certainly believed in all of this. He also attended Eid prayers regularly, had been living a life of quiet respectability as a member of an enlightened social class, and had never been involved in a dispute over religious convictions. But that wasn't going to stop his blood from boiling if his daughter strayed. When his wife heard the news, she almost fainted. There's only one thing to do. Let's go to Allahabad and shoot them both. But the mention of the word gun caused Begum Siddiqui to become deeply agitated. Oh, their beautiful, their only daughter. God's curse upon the rogue. How charming and harmless he had seemed during those Sunday visits to their house. How he appeared always to be having a good time, and how he and Samina bickered. Where did this blasted love came from anyway? Such wicked children these days, sneaking off behind your back to get married, and no one had the slightest inkling how he had flattered her, called her mummy. Indeed, he had succeeded in making her his mummy after all the rich. Such a good for nothing generation. No, we have nothing against Hindus. Did one ever bother with who was Christian and who was Hindu at Papu's Sunday get togethers? Husband and wife sat late into the night calling people on the phone and sending telegrams telling all those who had been invited to the wedding that the girl had come down with a severe attack of pneumonia. She is in intensive care. The wedding has been postponed for the time being. If she lives, we'll see. But there wasn't even a well sharpened knife in the house with which they could kill their daughter and son in law. Forget the gun. Getting a license without be such a bother, although, who knows, perhaps if they had tried, they might have been successful in procuring one quickly. After all, Allah had blessed them with good connections. But by the time a gun was obtained, a child would have been born. The thought of a child made their blood curdle. Well, Allah has given us two hands. At least, the girl's neck can be wrung. First, a good hiding place behind some bushes will have to be found. But are there any bushes there? Perhaps the villains live in a neighborhood devoid of decent shrubbery. This was a case of demanding that the river be full before one jumps into it drowned. If fate had been on our side, our daughter would not have run away, would not have blackened our faces thus. But it would not be fair if Tashar, the ruffian who seduced their innocent daughter, were allowed to go unpunished. Perhaps it will help to have the screwdriver sharpened. The tool sharpener used to appear at the front gate every day. What a shame he had been threatened with police action and asked to set up a shop elsewhere. What a dreadful grating noise he made when he sharpened a blade, as though a handful of sand had been thrust between your teeth. This was not something that could be shared with friends, but Jawad Jafri, who had a very unsuccessful practice in Allahabad, was like a member of the family. They called him on the phone and asked for advice. He promised to be with them around tea time the following day. And then a bomb exploded. A newspaper sent to the girl's parent from Allahabad was splashed with pictures of Samina and Tashar's wedding. A civil ceremony had not sufficed. Sethji, Tashar's father, had arranged a religious ceremony complete with a havan and pandit. And pictures were taken, snapshots of the girl changing her faith, taking a dip in the holy waters of the Ganga in Banaras, and finally a picture in which she appeared with Tashar, smiling at him like a hussy. Siddiqui Sahib's uncontrolled fury very nearly caused him to have a heart attack. But Jawad Sahib's timely arrival averted such a dreadful catastrophe. Tashar's father had indeed played it dirty. The man was a staunch Mahasabhi, and by printing those photographs with such aplomb, he had succeeded in sprinkling salt over Siddiqui Sahib's wound. Now, the entire family would have to be blown up with a bomb. But how? I, Siddiqui, who finds even the fireworks at Diwali and Shab-e Barat disturbing, have been shattered by this explosion. This is a nation of Hindus, after all. Oh, such fine positions were offered to him in Pakistan. But he had been so full of the progressive spirit then. Such stupidity. I can't leave my country. I will be buried in the earth that gave me life, he had said, using the Hindi word Jan. Remembering now, he swore angrily. That's a Hindi word, inappropriate for someone who is the product of a highly principled, truly Muslim family. Jawad Sahib pacified him with great difficulty, calmed him down a little. Then the two friends convened behind closed doors for hours. Later, the scheme was spelled out to the girl's mother. She expressed delight. What a crafty man, she said in praise of Jawad Sahib, who, although a Jafri Shia, had nonetheless shared years and years of friendship with Siddiqui Sahib. History might look askance at a Siddiqui Jafri alliance, but the association between these two men had remained untouched by discord. Faith and friendship do clash sometimes, but love and friendship generally succeed in emerging victorious. However, the contradiction can be tragic. How often do love and friendship serve to destroy principles? Dear friends, this is the end of part 1. Stay tuned for part 2, which will be uploaded tomorrow, as to know what actually was the plan made between Jawad Sahib and Siddiqui Sahib. Before leaving, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe the channel.